So my entire life, I've loved to travel. Growing up, I used to dream of staying in luxury hotels with my beau, renting a car on my own. Little did I know that such aspirations might land me in jail. This is my story. I'm making this video because what I went through, likely you will eventually go through. I mean, when you think of it, most of us will be in a car accident at least one time in our life. And unfortunately, that time might be in a foreign country, and you may have declined the rental agency's insurance because you know your credit card covers you, or the insurance you have at home maybe also covers your rental. Well, let me tell you, it might not be what you think it is to be. It might be different. I am sharing this story so that you stay on the free side of the prison bars. You could go to jail. You could actually go to jail. Like, jail. So a few weeks ago, I went to Madeira Island with a group of friends and my mom. It was super cute. You've likely heard of Madeira Island. Madeira wine comes from Madeira Island. It's owned by Portugal off the coast of Africa. Cristiano Ronaldo is from Madeira. In fact, the airport is the Cristiano Ronaldo Funchal Airport or something like that. So that island also has about 150 mountains, which gives you a clue of the type of terrain tourists have to deal with when driving there. But the mountains don't just cause a problem for the drivers. Cristiano Ronaldo Madeira Airport is also one of the most dangerous airports to land in. And that's because the mountains and the water cause this very tumultuous wind situation. The runway also used to be extremely short, and in fact, they had to extend the runway after one deadly crash too many. But Madeira Island is not a place for daredevils. I mean, people retire there. It's really popular. It's growing in popularity. A lot of remote digital nomads are moving there now because Portugal is a great place for those that work remotely. And Madeira Island is owned by Portugal, and it's like a paradise there. It's just gorgeous. So anyway, that's where we were. Now, as soon as we get there, we rent 2 cars for our group. One car has my friends, 2 couples, and then the other car is me, my husband, and my mom. Before we can even leave the parking lot, our friends call us and they like, "You won't believe what happened. We almost died." Why did they almost die, you ask? If I remember correctly, I think it was like the way the roads were set up. It wasn't clear which way traffic was coming at you or if you were going with the flow of traffic. And just as a footnote, like I'm sure my friends did this, but I want to remind you guys to study road signs before you visit any country. Imagine being a foreigner in America and not knowing what the road signs mean and driving. You know, you don't want to be in that situation, especially in another country. Usually they mean what you think, but sometimes you'll be surprised. Like what these 3 kids and an adult mean. You need to know that. So anyway, they almost died. Now they might be speaking hyperbolically or not, but we all had a good laugh. Okay, hang up. We still haven't left the parking lot. Why? We can't make the car go in reverse. Okay? And the person that's driving, who shall remain nameless, I may have already named them, they don't want to ask anyone because driving a manual shift is a matter of pride for a lot of people. Did you know that? People who drive manual, they look down on us automatic dependent people. They do. And they got like a little chip on their shoulder. They be like, "I don't need automatic. I drive a stick." Okay. So the person that was driving our car didn't want to ask how to go in reverse. We were driving a Renault Captur, and that's how we felt, like captives in the car. We was captives in the Captur. In order to go in reverse, you have to actually pull this like lever. And we couldn't figure it out. Eventually, we did figure it out thanks to YouTube, and we were on our way. Now, at this point in the trip, I'm thinking, oh, well, this was the worst thing that could possibly happen to us in this very beautiful location, is that we couldn't go in reverse. And we've successfully conquered that challenge. It's smooth sailing from here on out. It wasn't. A few days passed. We're hiking up beautiful mountains. We saw a picturesque sunset. So at this point of the trip, I'm really feeling relaxed. Everything's going well. Everyone's getting along. I feel like for the most part, everyone's getting what they wanted out of the trip. Some are doing their own thing. Plans are changing. It's all beautiful. I should mention that by this day, we have been pulled over at least once, and a bribe was demanded of us. This is really not good, but so we're driving, and an officer drives next to us. He says we ran a light. I don't think that's true. Maybe he's right. Like, I could be mistaken, but he demands cash. First, though, he asked for our passports. And you guys, when traveling, I always leave my passport securely in my room in a locked part of my luggage, because you never want to have your passport confiscated. You never want to have to deal with the embassy. That really could just ruin your entire life while you're on the trip. So we answered honestly. I mentioned this in another video. We ain't got our passport. Sorry. And he was like, oh, okay, no problem. $300. There was a time when I used to travel on the cheaps because I was broke. And I've always loved to travel, like I told y'all. So I would stay in airports. I would just make it work. I wouldn't have had $300 to give to that man. And I don't know what would have happened. I guess he would have arrested us for running a light. I don't know. Anyway, so that happened. So we paid him cash, and we're like, we're not going to let this experience ruin our time or our attitude. Hurrah. Yeah, we got this. No problem. Minor setback. We'll just be extra careful. Whatever. So now, if you ever visit Madeira Island, consider hiring a car service. Wherever you need to go, there's probably a tour set up. In fact, our friends who were in the other car, they decided in order to alleviate some stress from their trip, they hired a car service and did like a group tour. I will say we usually hate group tours. We hate being tied to the itinerary of someone else. But the mountains on Madeira are so steep, I completely understood. So that was an option. We did not take it. We decided to drive. Aside from the cop pulling us over, the challenging part about driving, and aside from the mountains, are the roundabouts. Roundabouts are a problem for us because we never know when to exit a roundabout. I know how to correctly exit a roundabout, but that don't mean all the drivers around you are exiting correctly. They are not in the lane that they're supposed to be in to exit. People will cross in front of you. It is a crazy situation sometimes, but roundabouts are very effective for traffic flow, so a lot of countries use them excessively. Like, I will say, it was roundabout to roundabout to roundabout. Do y'all really need to be about all these roundabouts? Has anyone asked the comptroller or whoever controls the situation, is this necessary? What about stoplights? What about stop signs? No, they do roundabouts, and we would find ourselves at the moon. Hey, why are we on the moon? We should be at the beach. We have to turn around. Then we be in Antarctica, and we was like, why are we in Antarctica? We not at the beach yet. Nope, we missed the wrong exit on the roundabout, and we have to go back. So while we're on our way to the natural pools, we take the wrong exit on the roundabout, drive up the steepest mountain. It's like a roller coaster at Disney. Like, you drive up the mountain, it's like click, 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 click. You get to the top of the mountain, and your car is like, the brakes on the car was like, what we supposed to do? They put their hands in the air. The car brakes had their hands in the air. And while we were coming down, we hit a wall. We hit a wall. And you know that feeling when life was great and you know exactly when life stopped being great? That's what it felt like once we hit that wall. Cause it was like crack, 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 crack. It was like firecrackers, but that was the paint coming off the car and the lights coming off the front, like pop, 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 pop. And the driver of the car is disgusted with themselves. But can I just say, this could have happened to anybody. There's no parking brake. Sometimes if you drive in a stick shift, you can kind of catch the car. Like, you like, whoa, car, and that parking brake will help you out. There was no parking brake in the Renault Captivated. So we were just captive to the car. The mountain was too steep for the brakes, and we ran into a mountain. I say, hey, no worries. We didn't hit anyone, and we didn't hit another car. In fact, no property is damaged except the rental. And who really cares about a rental car? Let me explain. When you damage a rental, don't nobody care about that car unless you're on Turo and that car actually belongs to someone else, it's fine. Don't worry. No one owns that car. It belongs to the agency. So I'm like, let's drop my mom and friend back off at the hotel. We'll go pick up another car. Maybe we'll crash that one. I don't know. So we drive up to the agency. Pat, 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 pat. That's the sound the car makes. It's like, pat, pat. Look back at it. That's the car. The agent is like, He looked at the car. He like, this happens all the time. That's what it looked like he's saying in his head. He's not worried at all. The first thing he tells us is, well, let's get you another car. Oh, customer service? Yes, I loved it already. I'm like, yeah, because get us another car because someone's damaged this one. Now, whenever you rent a car, you know that they offer you car rental insurance. And usually people who pay with credit cards will deny that insurance, trusting that their credit card got them. I will say, accepting the car rental agency's insurance might save you paperwork on the back end if you are in a collision. Another alternative might be the car insurance that you have at home. Like, for example, if you have State Farm, I think they offer car insurance. They may also cover you if you rent a car. But check the terms, make sure that applies, not just with car rentals, but car rentals in foreign countries. Not all credit cards offer primary rental insurance. Ours does. That's the Chase Sapphire Reserve. For our card, in order to take advantage of the car collision insurance, you have to completely decline the agency's offer and pay for your rental entirely with the card under which you're covered. So we paid for our rental with the Chase Sapphire Reserve. Okay, we declined the agency's insurance and paid for the rental with the Chase Sapphire Reserve. Now, when we pulled up to the agency with the busted car, like I said, they were really nice about it, and they were like, well, let's get you another car. Then the trouble began. He said, before you leave, I'll need $2,000. This was not a bribe. He had paperwork. For the collision, we had to pay $2,000 out of pocket. Now, fortunately, it was no problem. But I'm telling you, I used to travel with just $5 good in my pocket. I would not have been able to pay the bribe at that time that the officer demanded. I should say allegedly. I don't know why I'm saying that. He definitely asked for a bribe. And I definitely would not have been able to pay the $2,000 that I didn't expect to pay, that I did not budget for. So at the agency, they're like, yeah, we'll get you another car and you'll be on your way. But first we need this payment. We paid the $2,000, not with the Chase Sapphire Reserve card, by the way. So the card that I used to pay for the rental, I used a different card to pay for this $2,000 collision damage fee. Now the exact amount I had to pay was like $2,016.49. Now how they came up with this amount of $2,016.49, I have no idea. For real, it was stressing me out so much, I didn't even read the paperwork. Oh, this is so bad. Look, you guys, I know you're supposed to read the paperwork. I didn't. And I was so stressed out, I just wanted a new car and I wanted to move on as if this never happened. So I don't know where the $2,016.49 came from. I just fully expected Chase to reimburse me immediately. So we're in the new car now. We're on our way to pick up my mom and my friend. And while we're in the car, I call the claims line for Chase Sapphire. The agent picks up, is very nice, and is like, oh, hey girl, this the agent. Hey girl, we don't really do this over the phone. You got to do it all online. And I was like, oh, okay. Why do you have a phone number? She's like, your guess is good as mine, because we don't do this over the phone. You need to go online. What if I don't have a computer? Anyway, that's fine. I was completely fine handling all the paperwork online. I go to the website, and right away at the top of the website, it's like, hold up, we behind. So don't be expecting nothing on time. Got it? Good. Please proceed. I'm like, well, at least they're letting me know. I go ahead and put in my information. I'm given a claim number. It asks for certain things such as photos if we have them. I did not take photos. So that's another thing. Aside from making sure there's a paper trail, please take photos of the damage. I just would have felt better if I had photos. In the end, it did not matter because there were other problems I'd have to face. I provided the receipt because to me, the receipt and the paperwork we received from the agency is proof that we were, yes, in a collision and that we paid out of pocket this amount. The car rental agency is going to handle all the other damage, because I'm sure the damage on the car was more than $2,000, but the agency got it because they have their own insurance. So that makes complete sense. So all I'm expecting back from Chase is $2,000 and $2,016.49. Again, immediately. I gave them all the proof required. Little did I know that it would be 20 emails and 3 months before I saw my money again. Now, the red flag started right away, unfortunately. I filed the claim first in whole, completely, September 11th when we returned from our trip. The first red flag, I had to contact them for a follow-up. That same day, they contacted me and said, well, we need an estimate of repairs received. Think about this for a second. So we crashed the car, gave it to the agency, and the agency asked from us $2,016.49. What I'm asking back from my credit card company, not the cost of the damages, because the car rental agency is handling all of that, because they have insurance on their cars. So this made no sense. But my husband, thankfully, because I did not have time for this, he didn't have time for it either, to be honest, but he made the time to contact the agency and he was able to get the estimate of repairs, which was much more, like we expected, much more than $2,000. So we gave that to Chase's eClaims company, and I think eClaims is a third party that Chase uses. That's September 15th. I contact them again. I haven't heard anything. October 4th. They respond to my inquiry by saying, I didn't provide all the information they need. Well, what information do they need that I have not provided? They don't know. The notice that they gave me says there's just some information missing. Just check it out in the portal and provide all the information. So I respond, yeah, I gave you everything you needed a long time ago. Where's my money? Nothing. Okay, we go back and forth a few more times and they're very vague. Then they say that they need a receipt of the charges we incurred. So they need a receipt showing that we paid the agency $2,000. I provided that on day one. So at this point, we are about 10 emails deep, and I frankly tell them, look, it looks like you're trying not to pay us. I'm gonna need more effort on your part, or we will have to show you how litigious we can be. So from them, I give back, and to their credit, like they're not afraid of me. So to their credit, they're like, hey, got your message about how litigious you guys are. Good for you. We don't have all the information we need from you. You need to send us more information. Like what? So I give them a call. A person answers after 45 minutes. So I'm gonna hold 45 minutes with eClaims, which I hear, by the way, is actually pretty good. And I tell them my situation. They're like, oh yeah, you need to provide more information. I'm like, okay, that's what these 10 emails have said. What information do you need? They hung up on me. They hung up on me. So I called back, waited an hour and a half. No one answered. Professional. In the end, it took us until December 4th to get a notice saying that our claim was accepted. After the claim was accepted, it took another, I'll say 15 days to receive an electronic deposit for the amount of $2,016.49. Why am I sharing this with you? Listen, if I had to do all of this again, I may have accepted the car rental agency's insurance, forfeiting the collision damage insurance that comes with my credit card. In the end, yes, I was paid. It's fine. But what if the car rental agency demanded the price of the car from me? Would I have had to pay that out of pocket and then hope that my credit card reimburses me? Yes, that's how that works. There's so much cash just out there and I hate it. I hate having cash out there, not knowing if I'll get it back. Of course, the solution is to not crash a car. But things happen, right? We didn't plan to crash the car, and we were very careful because we understand this is someone else's property. No one cares about it. No one cares about the rental car, but you know, we still want to be careful with other people's property. Oops, but we did get in an accident. My advice to you, number one, consider taking the car rental agency's insurance. Just consider it. Consider it. That may save you some time, some paperwork, and headache on the back end. Number two, check to see if the insurance you have at home also covers you when you travel and rent a car. Number three, fine. Go ahead and use the insurance provided by your credit card. Honestly, I will, because I don't like to learn my lesson. The next time I travel and I rent a car, I'll definitely be relying on the collision insurance provided by my Chase Sapphire Reserve card. I will. I already know it. I will. So I didn't learn my lesson. I don't expect you to. That's fine. But do that knowing that you will be required to pay something out of pocket if you damage the vehicle. And it may be a headache getting that money back. Consider hiring someone to handle this for you when you get back home. Like, for real, it was not worth the headache. Can someone do this for you? Do you have like a cousin that's in between jobs that can do this for you for like 10% of the money you're gonna get back? I would have definitely hired someone to do this again. I did not have the time to go back and forth with these people, to have 20 emails between us, and to be on the phone for hours with no solution. I didn't have time for that. I was very fortunate to have a husband who was able to take care of a lot of that for me. When I was really done with them, he just took it over and he just got it done. And he's like a lot more like meek and patient. So he did it with no problem. But I was like ready to, I'm not gonna say what I was ready to do. Anyway, that's that. Did I end up in jail? No. Could I have? Possibly. And I hope that you don't. Now, if this story time is not answering the specific question that you may have about getting into an accident while in a foreign country, please let me know below in the comment section. And if you have more suggestions on what to do if you are in a car accident in a foreign country, please share those below. After watching this video, it's very unlikely any of us will stop traveling. We're not going to stop renting cars when we do travel and we want to rent cars. And so what we really just need to know is what happens when we are inevitably in an accident. However, you may also need to know how to pack light without being stinky. Yes, even clean people can travel the world carrying only one suitcase. And if you want to know how, click on this video here. Click it! Thank you for watching! Zara! Hey. How you doing?